All right, second day of framing. That's how far they got. Wasn't here all day, had to go to work. I kind of hate that because, you know, it's nice keeping an eye on them. Again, I'm not that I know better than they do, but there's a lot of little details that I like to try to make sure they understand, or I may not even think about until they're in the middle of it. And I'll show you some examples. But I got to go to work sometimes. I've been taking some vacation and working from home a little bit, and but today's just the day I needed to go in, so I kind of missed a few things. One was these gutter drain lines. You know, I bought all the materials this weekend for them, and I was kind of hoping they'd wait till tomorrow and I would come out here and actually do it myself, you know, cut everything and piece it together and get it exactly how I wanted it. But they said they want to go ahead and get it in there today so they could finish backfilling the gravel. And so I just told them, I said, this is exactly how I want it. I laid out the pieces how I wanted it. There's a lot of detail to it and kind of way I wanted things to be done. And part of it is I really can't tell if they did it right or not because it is covered up now with gravel. But you know, like for instance, how high do we want these pipes to come up before it turns into metal gutter? I'd like to be sort of low so you don't see a bunch of pipes sticking up. I think these are just rough pieces they threw down to keep rock out of the holes for now. But something that hit me today is we never really truly have finalized the height of the garage floor. You know, we've got a pretty close idea, but an inch or two one way or the other makes a big difference because that's a lot more gravel we got to bring in here. And I want to make sure it's high enough so that water stays out of the front of the garage, but again, not too high because every inch is, like I said, a bunch more gravel spread over a large area. So we never have agreed on an exact height in relation to the house and everything of the floor. Figured that's something we'd work out right before we poured the concrete, or I guess as we finish getting the rest of the gravel. But one thing I started thinking about is when they rough cut the opening in here for the door, that's based on the height of the concrete. So I haven't measured this yet, but you know, I'm not sure how much wiggle room I have. Probably what I would have told them to do is leave it a little high on top, and I'll throw an extra board or something there at the last minute to fine tune where we want it to be based on where the concrete ends up. So I'm gonna have to talk to them about that tomorrow. Might be a chance we can modify that if need be. But that's just a little bit of detail I'm talking about. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. There's one small mistake I could tell he made over here that I told him, but again, you tell one guy, who's the guy actually cutting the pipe, you know? Does he get the message? And that's all things that I like to be here for. So I've kind of got in mind, I know this isn't legit, but you know, I don't have any sewer hookup back here. It'd be very difficult to get to where I even think my sewer is, and you have to have a pump to get it back up out of a low spot. So what I'd like to do is have a sink in here just to wash your hands and stuff like that. And originally I had in mind the sink being at the back of the garage and just dumping it out in the woods. Now I'm thinking I want all my water stuff right here. And who knows, I may switch it back to the back. But if I had my water stuff here, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to get my the drain out. And what I thought about doing is just popping a little hole in the cinder block, running it just a little bit under the gravel here and into this gutter drain, which will be a downspout come down through here into there, and it heads out that way. And I told him, I said, just stub me out a little 1 foot piece past this Y and put the cap on it, and give me enough to, down the road, I can cut that off, put a reducer on it, turn it into a 2 or 3 inch pipe and out. Well, they didn't do that. They just put it right up against it. So now I got nothing to work with there. I'm not sure what I would do. I'm assuming they glued all that in. But that's just an example, a little detail stuff that if I was out here, I could have kept an eye on them, made sure, hey, you know, give me a foot there to work with. So I don't know how I ended up fixing that. I really didn't want to backfill in this conduit quite yet because I was hoping to make a couple more minor adjustments to it before it's over with, but they backfilled it now. So again, little stuff like that is examples of why I like to be here as much as possible. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. They made decent progress. I'd say by tomorrow they'll definitely have the walls done, and probably Wednesday, today's Monday, so Wednesday they'll have probably be setting the rafters on, I would assume. And maybe Thursday putting a roof on it. Again, just guessing, but they're thinking maybe by next week possibly pouring the concrete floor, so we'll see.